156,000 people. That is the population of Curaçao. They are at the World Cup and a Caribbean island most people only know as a blue cocktail ingredient. The smallest nation in history of this tournament. And they are not alone. Three other nations are making their World Cup debut this summer. This is what happens when football opens the door to the world. Welcome back to episode 7 of FUT IN Review World Cup Daily. My name's John, I'll be your host today, and I'm joined again by none other than Mr. Graeme Homer. Welcome back, Graeme.
Thanks for back. Hello, everybody.
It's good to have you back again. And we are joined by someone, well, I would say he needs no introduction, but maybe he does need an introduction today because he's new on this show, on this version of the show, but not new to the crew. Welcome back, James. And let's say a little hello to people that don't know you.
Hello there, John. Hello there, Graeme again. Delighted to be back again. For the listeners and the watchers that are just new to this show, my name's James. I'm a Scottish content creator. And I'm just looking forward to the World Cup. As you can tell by my accent, I'm going to be supporting Scotland. Let's hope we can get out of the group stages, and I'm looking forward to
it. How big do you fancy your chances of going out of the group stages before we continue with this show?
Well, the last World Cups, John, we finished, I believe, third. So that's a good omen for this year. I believe 8 out of the 12 third place finishes can qualify. So you never know. And we just beat Bolivia 4-0, so we might even win it.
You never know. What you also never know is how many people are listening to this show. You can join this show live if you're a Patreon supporter, and you get this show up to a day early if you're a Patreon supporter. So go check out patreon.com/FUTInReview for about $1 a week. You not only support the show, but you also get lots and lots of benefits. So check that out. Today, we are discussing the debutants. 4 nations playing in the first ever World Cup. There's some stories that will make you feel generally good about football. Let's go. Guys, I have here the notes about all the teams. I'm just going to pitch the teams and want to have your guys' opinion on it. And there's one team in particular, which I am very much supporting this World Cup. And they also have the best away kit from the whole tournament. We'll discuss those as second, because first up is Cabo Verde, a population of 525,000 people, an island nation on the west coast of Africa, population just over 500,000. They tried 7 times to qualify for the World Cup, 7. And this year, they actually won their qualifying group, beating Cameroon, which is a 5-time Africa champion. Of course, their manager Bubista was named the 2025 CAF Coach of the Year. Ryan Mendes is their captain, being 36 years old. Also, not only debuting at the World Cup, but also probably his last World Cup ever. He holds the caps record and the goals records for Cabo Verde and has been waiting his entire career for this chance. They land in Group H with Spain, Uruguay, and Saudi Arabia. And they start versus Spain. Graeme, does Cabo Verde has any chance of advancing, and what do you make of their story?
Honestly, I don't think they do have a chance.
There goes the positive. Well done, mate. Just me hyping them up.
Just being honest, just Spain and Uruguay are the favourites, and Saudi Arabia are a pretty good nation. They proved that at the last World Cup with their result against Argentina. I reckon they could, if anything possible, if football, they could maybe shock a few people. If Spain's too nonchalant or Uruguay doesn't show up, you never know. But I generally, out of all the new nations, I think the group's very hard for them to be able to get through it, unfortunately. What about yourselves?
I would agree, Graeme, definitely. It's a tough group. Just to recap the group for our watchers and listeners, it's Spain, Uruguay and Saudi Arabia. And I believe they actually play Spain the opener. So that's a tough ask for a small nation. It's good that they've debuted. Maybe you never know the rule that I just mentioned earlier about the third place finish. Possibly, but I really don't see it at all. I think their chances are very, very slim. I think, unfortunately, it's just to make up the numbers and enjoy their trip over to America.
So, 2 highlights for the thing. I'm going to hype them up a little bit, though, because I do think you guys might be correct in your assessment of their sports performances this World Championship. But they are called the Blue Sharks, which is, of course, a pretty cool name. They also rock that blue shark on their kit, making them. Oh, I think that's a really cool kit. The kit is actually sponsored by Capelli, being the first one on the World Championship sponsored by Capelli. Then it's like as a kit, like as a jersey enthusiastic, I was like, let's go. It could be really cool. I'm going to be very honest. Except for the blue shark, these kits are very bland to me, though. So there's not much hyping going on there. Well, it's cool to have them on. I don't think they will. I hope this is one of the teams we'll be talking about a lot. Maybe they can get a point or win against Saudi Arabia at the end. But to be fair, Saudi Arabia has a little bit more experience on these tournaments, I think, right? So do you reckon, Graeme, they get 1 point in or none at all?
My head says no. Like I don't see them picking anything up, but my heart does, just for the whole dynamic and the feel good element and the morale that it would create. My heart does think maybe Saudi Arabia stuff, they're good chance, but we've been to World Cups where there's been awful shocks, like Saudi Arabia. Nobody expected them to get anything out of the Argentina game, and yet they won it. So if Spain don't show up with the right mentality, they could be shocked, but I just can't see it personally.
Let's dive into the second team, which is going to be my second team this wave. It's none other than Curaçao, the Blue Wave, a population of 156,000 people. Of course, very much aligned to the Dutch nationality, so there might be a little bit bias there. So 156,000 people, smaller than the crowd that will be in the stadium for the final. Just to put it a little bit in perspective. It's the smallest nation in the history of the World Cup. They went unbeaten to their entire CONCACAF qualification. And they qualified with a 0-0 draw against Jamaica. Their manager is Dick Advocaat, assisted by Cor Pot. Dick Advocaat helped Feyenoord this year as well. So, and of course, 78 years old, the oldest head coach in World Cup history. And he's the first ever to manage 3 different nations at the tournament. Well, to be fair, most of the players were born in the Netherlands and they played their football in Europe and Turkey. James, do you think they start off versus Germany, by the way, and then Ecuador, then Côte d'Ivoire? Do you think they stand any chance at all? Or is it going to be a cricket score versus Germany, perhaps?
Well, they've got the toughest, hardest possible group straight away. They also play Germany in the opener, like you just alluded to there. And if we can draw similarities with Scotland, we had Germany in an opener for the last tournament we were in, and that didn't go as planned. And then, of course, just for the watchers and listeners, you've got Ecuador and you've got Ivory Coast. And also, some people might say Ecuador is dark horses to get through the knockout stages. It's a tough ask for them. They didn't lose a game in qualifying, but is the qualifying that did they have to play teams that are the strongest, like they're going to place in the World Cup? Probably not. But you never know. Like Graeme alluded to, with Saudi Arabia beating Argentina, you didn't see that happening. And in the World Cup 2002, Senegal in the opening game had France, so you could draw similarities with that, and then they won. And then the man that is always famous for that fantastic goal, well, the tap-in, if you like, was Bouba Diop. So you never know. That's the beauty of football. Upsets can happen. It's very, very unlikely that it would happen, though.
Graeme, are you agreeing with James there, or are you go in my camp and give him a little bit of a chance here?
I don't think they've got much of a chance, but compare them to Cape Verde, I think they have a better chance of pulling something out of the bag. Like you said, pretty much they are the nation that has the most non-nationals in the squad, being basically the Netherlands B team. Everybody's pretty much a Dutch player in their squad, so a lot of them are more technically better players. They've played in Europe pretty much their whole lives. They've got some good names like Richard Bozer there. Good manager, Dick Advocaat as well. Obviously, he had links to Rangers. He was our manager for quite a while. And he is good at setting teams up. So, again, head says no, heart hopes that they can do something. Because, like I said, it's always nice to see when these smaller nations, they make their debut, they come in. If they can give somebody a bloody nose, it would be a good watch. But I just can't see it, unfortunately.
Oh, guys.
But they do actually. I personally think they've got the best two kits at the cup, so it would be nice to see them more often. Yeah.
The kits are. I think the kits are amazing. The first one is called the Blue Waves, like I said, and their first jersey, the home jersey, is an Adidas jersey, blue with waves on their sleeves, which is pretty slick. But the second jersey on that, I just look it up, away kit, Curaçao this year. I think that's the best kit of the World Championship. I don't know. Something about that kit. It's the 80s, late 70s, like start 80s, late 70s aesthetic that it has going. I like the stripes being a different color. There's something about that kit which I really like. And like I said, I'm probably a little bit biased, but I think if you face Germany at the start of the tournament, might be the best time to face them as well. They are, I think, a little bit more built against the heat. They are, and I think this is why I think they will continue through the group phase, even if it's a strong group, because they are managed by Dick Advocaat. Advocaat is known for just keeping the teams play simple football, compact, hardly concede any goals. That's why they didn't lose any in qualification, and they will fight for their country, right? And I think if you play that compact play style in a smarter way, then I think this tournament is ideal to get like a third place in without conceding too many goals. Could be enough to progress you through the group stage. And against Côte d'Ivoire, those guys aren't what they are used to be either. Plus, they will go all out, and we saw last week when they played the friendly against, I think it was Scotland, Graeme.
Yep.
Curaçao, right? Where if you do give them space to counter, actually, they could counter. It was unfortunate red card, but else that match could have ended up a way different, I think, as well. So I'm very hopeful. I'm going to enjoy every single match they played. I actually watched the match against Jamaica for the qualification live as well. Yeah, and one of these days I need to find a way to get that kit because that's amazing. James, I'm going to continue with Jordan. They failed 10 times the qualifying for this one. 10. They are ranked 36th in the world, which sounds low until you realize they outperformed several high-ranked Asian nations to get here. Their key player is Musa Al-Taamari, nicknamed the Jordanian Messi. Well, that says something about him. The captain is Isan Haddad, 32 years old defender, who has been at this squad for years. They play Argentina, Algeria, and Austria, and the biggest game of any Jordanian footballer's life will be facing Lionel Messi in his World Cup. Well, James, do you think that they could go through? And what do you think Jordan, Argentina mean? The game itself means for these players?
Well, straight away, John, out of all four nations, I would say the group's the easiest out of all four nations, dare I say that. Also, it could be a match set up in heaven. Saudi Arabia beat Argentina. Can Jordan do it as well? So they could possibly look at the Algeria game as one of the games that they just put everything into. Austria's not bad, but they press a lot under the former Manchester United manager and, of course, director of Leipzig. So it's a tough group, but I would say it's the easiest group. And like I said, dare I say it. So possibly, if I was a betting man, and if I was to for the four nations, I would probably.
You are a betting man.
I certainly am, John. Guilty. So I would probably go for Jordan out of all the four, just basically because the group's a wee bit easier. And 10 failed attempts, like you've just touched on there. This time they've got there, so you never know. It could happen. So I'm trying to be more positive for this nation, for the watchers and listeners.
I actually feel like they have the hardest group with Argentina. Algeria play this week live. And I think Austria is one heck of an opponent, which you can't underestimate. Graeme, are you in camp John? They have no chance. Or in camp James, like this is an easy group. This could be good.
I don't think they've got much of a chance as well. I just, being realistic, like all these new nations, they don't have the experience of being at the World Cup. Their squads, they aren't the best squads either. They have one or few star players, like Al-Taamari, plays for Rant in France. He scored 7 goals this year, which is a good return, but he's not overly prolific. I think like 7's his base average his last couple of seasons. So I just Austria's a good nation, really good nation. Algeria's really good, and then obviously Argentina, the defending champions. I don't see where they pick up any points, unfortunately.
Yeah. Talking about the jerseys, they're sponsored by Kelme. Is that correct? Kelme? First time as well in on a World Championship, Graeme, I think.
I believe so. That's what's been reported, but I couldn't say that for 100% fact.
Right, and before I start insulting the whole country of Jordan, these shirts don't do anything for me. It's just white and a red shirt with dots on it on the sides.
Yeah, they're 3 kits. They've got white, a red, and a black. They are very plain. The black one has some pattern on it, which obviously breaks it up. But they don't come very close to what Curaçao's has.
No, I do quite like the color. It's a little V-square-faced color in it. But I don't think they'll sell many. What explain to me, Graeme, like if you are on the World Championship, at least try to stand out in your kits, right? There should be something there. Is it just me that overestimates the importance of a good kit?
If you've got a nice kit, generally people will back you a little bit more. They do that bias of like, oh, I like that kit, I'll get that kit, and then I'll watch for that team. Like, does play a little bit, but in general, I don't think when it comes to on the field, it really matters much who's on your top, like, and how your top looks. It's more the players on the pitch. I said very plain. The black Ford kit is probably the nicest. That it has like a flower design on it. So I don't think we'll see them much.
No, afraid not. We need to do a separate episode about kits maybe. But James, do you bear any importance to kits during World Championship at all?
Not really. But I think your love of kits, John. I think being Dutch, you're spoiled. So I don't think there's a bad Holland kit at all. You've always had a nice kit, in my opinion. But no, it doesn't matter either or. It doesn't really matter for the kit. It's the mat.
I think kits matter for. Well, I think if you have a good kit, it gives you a little bit more confidence going on the pitch. But I also find it important that kits are affordable these days. I don't know. You talk about the Dutch kits. Just 2-minute rants from me before we continue with the last though. But if you go to Nike, the Netherlands has been sponsored by Nike for years now, decades maybe even, and they always have good looking kits. But a couple of 2 World Championships ago, they decided to do 2 things. They bring out fan kits, which sort of has the same patterns and colors of the professional kit, but it's not really similar. So if you buy that kit, which costs still about 120 euros, by the way, and you would stand next to a professional player wearing the official kit, there's a big difference in feeling, but also like patterns on the kit. It only has the same colors. And if you buy the original kit, it's 160 euros, and that's without a name or a number on it. So you almost be down like 180 or 185 euros if you get a similar looking kit to what the guys on the pitch are wearing. And I think I think that's just a silly amount. Like, I'd pay that. I wouldn't even pay that for my club's kit, right? I think that's insane. And then you look at Curaçao and it's €70 for the official kit. So that's half the price, and it's still official. So I think Adidas does this way better than Nike, and I feel betrayed, sort of having good kits for the Netherlands squads. But hey, that's beside the point. I also saw this morning that Dutch Custom intercepted 42,000 fake kits from China this morning. And they were saying you are sponsoring criminals. Well, I think buying Nike kits for €180 sort of criminal as well. But I'm not condoning buying fake kits, but I think there should be a little bit of balance into these World Championship kits. But hey, there's that. Last but not least, the country that has 37 million people, the last debutant this World Championship, is Uzbekistan. So by far the largest of the four debutants, they are ranked 50th in the world, the highest of the four, and they're coached by Fabio Cannavaro, the man who lifted the World Cup trophy for Italy in 2006. Their captain is Eldor Shumodov, all-time top scorer with 44 goals in 90 caps. Now at Istanbul Basaksehir. And their top star is Khusanov, who's 23 years old and plays for Manchester City. And he's the only Uzbek who ever played in the Premier League. They are in a group K, which hosts Colombia, Portugal, and Congo. Of course, Portugal is the big test. Colombia are a genuine dark horse. And Congo, well, I don't know what we can expect from them this season, to be fair. Graeme, if you look at the group K, do you reckon Uzbekistan has any chance to progress through this?
I'd say out of the four new debutants, they do have probably the best chance. I think they have the better team all round. There's one or two players that I thought might have went that didn't go. I don't think they'll do much against Portugal unless Portugal just phone it in. But Congo and Colombia's not their best team that they've ever brought to a World Cup, so I think they could be shocked. And then with Congo, I think it's just a straight fight out between the two of them. So I say they would be the most likely out of the four to pick up a point and go through for me.
James, agree or?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I know I said about Jordan that I can see them going through, but just based on the group. But regards to Uzbekistan's squad, then of course they're the highest ranked. So without a shadow of a doubt, they have got a good chance. But I'm backing Portugal to win the thing, with the win the World Cup. So I don't think they would have any decent result against Portugal or Colombia. Just maybe depends if they play Portugal the last game or whenever really they play. With the defender, Man City, he's actually been playing a lot the second half of the season with Mark Guehi. He looks very good, and straight away one of the stats that you can tell from, he's got a lot of pace. So that could be in their favour. So yeah, it's the strongest of the four nations. I'd like to go positive with this, and we'll say they'll reach the last round of 32 as a third place team.
Which of the four debutants do you think will do best?
Uzbekistan for me.
I would say, I would say Uzbekistan based on the squad.
Which has the best story for you guys, Graeme?
I'd say Curaçao, just the smallest nation. I think they just have the better story from everybody.
James?
I would say Curaçao as well, for maybe a reason that Graeme won't think I'll say, but Dick Advocaat, he's a very, very good manager. It's a lovely story that he got Curaçao to the World Cup, then sadly had to quit due to his daughter not being well, and then he's back in the dugout to lead them out. So that's a nice story that they got him there. Unfortunately, family comes first, and he had to take care of his daughter. But now fortune favours the brave, and he's back with his team. So I hope that they do well with that story, because no doubts about it, Dick Advocaat is a very good manager. So it's a nice story, personal story for him.
Definitely. And Rutte actually replaced him when he had to step out. But the team didn't quite like Rutte, so they asked for if Advocaat please could come back for the World Championship. And Rutte just said, okay, oh, if you don't want me and you want to take Advocaat back, I'll just step aside. Good luck with this. Which I think shows something for Rutte as well. As I think was he didn't have to do that, honestly.
Yeah.
He could go to the World Championship as a manager, but I think that's cool. What I also like, because we see a lot of information about Curaçao here as well, is that everyone can bring their family. You know, all these players are separated from the family. At Curaçao, they said, we book the hotel and you can just bring your family as well. We'll make it one big party because it might be the only time you ever experience this. Let's do this way. And I think that's very important. And, well, it's one big party on the island, I can imagine.
Yeah, will be. The interesting thing is that Advocaat wasn't even the first choice for them. They wanted Van Gaal, and he said no. So it's been an incredible story. Like, being rejected by Van Gaal, obviously Advocaat takes the job, has to leave, comes back. It's just, like I said, it's the best story out there.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Couple of days to go before we start. This was episode 7, 4 Nations, 1 Dream. All of them on the biggest stage in the World Cup for the first time. But before you go, follow us on Instagram at FUT IN Review and TikTok, which we have been pushing content like crazy, with a special shout out to Rachel for that. So check out TikTok at FUT IN Review Podcast. Give us a 5-star review on your podcast app. It takes about 10 seconds and it helps us more than you know. And if you share this episode with someone who's watching the World Cup, with one of your friends, that will be amazing. And of course, Patreon supporter, this episode's already in your feed. And check it out, patreon.com/FUT IN Review. Tomorrow we'll be back with episode 8, where we talk about the Golden Boot, who wins it, the odds, the contenders, and our picks. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.